New Year's in Key West, same shoe, new queen. And in New York, Anderson Cooper, pull it together.
Millions watched New Year's Day focused on Greater Fort Lauderdale at the Rose Parade, including a gay icon, rainbow umbrellas, rainbow smoke, a new theme song, and lots of pride of the LGBTQ community. Governor DeSantis, were you watching?
The accused attackers of the brutal beating of LGBTQ plus women in Miami are arrested and charged with battery with prejudice. But the victims and the community want justice for the suffering. Will that happen, and when?
The new copy of Hotspots magazine will be on stands on January 4th, and they are going to get your fabulous New Year started right. Don't forget to grab your free copy of Florida's oldest magazine, now celebrating 40 years in 2024.
Dave Chappelle is here with 5 shows at Hard Rock Live. New Year's Eve simultaneously launched his new Netflix special. And yes, trans people, gay people, and LGBTQ jokes open the show. Again, all launched in the gayest place on planet Earth. Is he trying to tell us something?
Hello and welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily evening television news broadcasting live and available on demand on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, and social platforms, including Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. It's time to queer up the news for Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we are going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
I'm Out South Florida's senior reporter, John Hayden. This evening, we bring you the news of and perspective representing the LGBTQ plus community from South Florida, America, and around the world.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ plus evening news show. Whatever happens, unique in LGBTQ plus news, you will see it and hear it.
Hotspots magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ plus community. Our mission is to support the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ plus community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our Black community, Latino, lesbians and queer women, trans, students and youth, seniors, HIV and AIDS, healthcare, business, social justice, and faith. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ plus media companies in America, Hotspots magazine and Happening Out Television Network. Our magazine is celebrating 39 years of the LGBTQ plus experience, and our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ plus and broader community.
Well, Happy New Year. It's our first show of 2024. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm going to start this new year off right by meeting our panel. Up first, Adriana Tender, the program coordinator with Trans Inclusive Group and owner of Tender Loving Care Trans Mentoring. She serves on the National Board of Governors of the Human Rights Campaign, vice president of the Dolphin Democrats, and is on the board of Black LGBTQ Liberation. Welcome back, Adriana, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, and thank you so much for having me. And if y'all would like to keep me as the Vice President of Dolphin Democrats, let's make sure that you come to the Pride Center on the second Wednesday of February for elections. And also, HRC is having our South Florida Gala on February 17th at the Hard Rock Cafe and Casino. Get your tickets and I'll see you there.
That's going to be some election year starts early for you.
Yes, it does.
Good luck, girl. Up next, Cameron Glass, a South Florida actor and musician, as well as a member of the cast of the popular live LGBTQ plus talk show, It's Happening Out. Welcome, Cameron.
Hi.
Happy New Year.
Blessings to all this joyous and prosperous 2024. Last year was awful for most, but I hope for the better.
We live in hope. And finally, Mr. Gregg Shapiro. His 9th book, Refrain in Light, was selected for the Poetry Mutual 10 Best Poetry Books of 2023. Yeah, but what have you done this year?
I'm working.
Slacker. His entertainment coverage, including celebrity interviews, runs in a variety of print and online publications, including the one and only Out South Florida. Welcome back, Gregg.
Thank you, John. It's so great to be here with Adriana and Cameron, and Happy New Year, y'all.
Happy New Year. Well, we are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community around the world is vast. And here are the bullet points for the queer news for today, Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024. Well, we begin by queering up gay culture. Somehow, New Year in Key West got even gayer, and then comes Anderson Cooper. We'll start in Key West. Forget dropping balls. Midnight at Bourbon Street Bar once again hosted the dropping of the shoe, but same shoe, new occupant. Oh my God. This is one of my favorite events. Like every year on New Year's, I just love watching this. This year, Christopher Peterson took the midnight ride down to Bourbon Street. He replaced Key West icon Sushi, who apparently retired from the Midnight Madness. Christopher told me the drop was okay. Looking down, well, up there it's not good, but a little liquid courage gets you through. End quote. Once he got to Duval Street, he sang Auld Lang Syne. Of course, that's not the only gay thing we're going to relive. Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen once again did a marathon countdown on CNN filled with special guests, including John Mayer from a cat cafe in Tokyo. Okay, I'm just warning you now. Prepare for a lot of giggling.
By John Mayer at a cat cafe in Tokyo. John, this doesn't look sanitary, John. John.
It's, you know what? I believe it passes all health codes. I think it's just fine. Yes, we are at a cat bar. It's called Cats in the Box in Tokyo, celebrating New Year's. We're already halfway through the first day of 2024.
John.
I'm here with
John,
Shin and 5 other proprietors of the bar.
Talk to me about this bar. You're in the bar, and there are cats everywhere. Yes. They are licking each other.
There are cats.
Yes.
Yes, this is This is a place you can come, enjoy a drink or two, and talk to cats. It's a cat bar. I mean, I don't know how much more clear I can be about the objective of this place.
John, you are in Tokyo,
I can't see
Japan.
Anderson, but I know exactly what he looks like.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. He's gone. He's off with the fairies here. The shot of the cat's ass in your face is making him delirious. Yes, he is now. You have, John. Do you have catnip there or cat food that you're giving the cat?
Well, Andy, I got to be honest with you. I thought these were solid treats. This seems to be a paste of some kind that you feed the cats directly from a tube.
Oh my God! They are the goofiest BFFs on the airwaves, and I don't really know if John Mayer just didn't get the joke, or was just kind of playing it straight or whatever. He'd be the only one there. And if you notice, that, like he said, they were halfway through the day. That was 1:16 in the afternoon Tokyo time. But they're always a lot of fun. I talked to Christopher down in Key West after he made the ride, and he said it was just amazing. So a lot of fun in South Florida. And those cats, all those cats were nice big orange cats that remind me of my late Lady Buttons and my new little buddy Figaro. They're both just adorable. So Happy New Year, John Mayer. Thanks for representing the Tabby. The Tabby community. We love you.
Well, I loved seeing Key West, Duval Street, and Bourbon Street Pub being featured prominently on CNN. And if it gave DeSantis and his Bruta broodmare agita and perhaps some esophagus shredding acid reflux, all the better for the new year.
Oh my God, I didn't think they were ever going to stop laughing. I didn't think they were ever going to stop laughing. But I just want y'all to know, I promise I did not steal any of those cats' oranges.
Oh
my.
I touched to feel, but I know better.
Yeah.
I know better. Cameron, how was your New Year?
My New Year was pretty nice and chill. I made sure to go spend time with the people who love me and the people that I love really quick, just like at max an hour each, because I had to drive from place to place. But then I made sure to take it all in. As I mentioned earlier, I didn't have a great year. And I just wanted to sit at home, reflect, be with myself, and be like, I'm going to put out the better energy for a better year, as I hope a lot of people at home do, because, 2023 was a struggle. It was a struggle.
Now, when you're at home alone reflecting, do you reflect with your right hand or your left?
Usually a tub of Vaseline is involved, but we'll leave it to the imagination.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, my 2024, we are off and running.
Off and running.
Well, let's imagine queer travel. 26 million watched Fort Lauderdale's LGBTQ plus community at Rose Parade New Year's Day. Stacy Ritter, president and CEO of Visit Lauderdale, knew that she had to do something big to distinguish Fort Lauderdale from what was happening in Florida. So she came to California and enlisted 45,000 flowers, a raft of Brussels sprouts, the nephew of the late Harvey Milk, one of the country's first openly gay elected officials, and what amounts to a 2-hour televised ad, also known as the 135th Annual Rose Parade, that is viewed by millions. Visit Lauderdale had its first Rose Parade float, complete with rainbow umbrellas and a slogan that Ritter believed counteracted DeSantis' march to the right. Everyone under the sun. She hopes that the float at the Rose Parade helps people understand that their perception of Florida and what the news headlines say about Florida is different from reality. The float was a symbol of how diverse and inclusive this destination is. Part of that diversity included a special musical performance of the new Greater Fort Lauderdale theme, sung by Emmy-nominated singer Alexander Starr. It also featured Rainbow Smoke as part of the live national television performance. Harvey Milk's nephew Stuart Milk was a special guest on the float. The Visit Lauderdale team spent about $790,000, including registration and materials, for the float, to bring its creation and message to life. It was an effort the Broward County community wholeheartedly supported. Queer News Tonight has followed this story closely and noted that there has been significant national news about this float. Unusual for any news about a single float, but the media has focused on the context of Florida and the destination wanting to welcome the nation despite the politics of the state. In related news, gay Mormon American Idol star David Archuleta opened the national television broadcast of the parade, and we will be seeing him soon on Wilton Drive in February for Rock the Block Festival. The float was the first in the history of the Rose Parade having such a commitment to diversity and inclusion of the LGBTQ plus community.
Kinda like tequila and lime. Let the sun set low so stars can align. I'm in a free state of mind all of the time. That's right. Cause I color out loud, reppin' my town. Hey yo, if you wanna feel amazing right now, flash up your lights and color the whole town la-di-day-o. Hey yo, yo, I color out loud, reppin' my town, for la-di-day-o. I've been around the world, and there ain't no place like la-di-da-di-day-yo. Cause we're literally everyone under the sun. But hold up. Touchdown. Touchdown, yo, touchdown in FLL, and I'ma be like, welcome to my house, watch me take control now, this one's for my hometown, 954 we show out, welcome to my house and play my music too loud, Alexander Star style, 954 we own now, come to Lauderdale, hey, hey, and I'ma be like, welcome to my house, ooh, what I'm talking about, la-di-day-yo, baby. Visit Lauderdale, and I'ma be like, welcome to my house. Cause I color out loud while I'm repping my town. Peace signs up to the clouds right now. Ayo, la-di-day. If you wanna feel amazing right now, flash up your lights and color the whole town. La-di-day-yo. Ayo. Yo, I color out loud, repping my town. Hey, hey, I said calling all cultures. When you pull up on the scene, hey, shine up through the rooftops and color out loud like la-di-day-yo. We say, hey, yo, you can color out loud like la-di-day-yo. Hey, yo. Love y'all.
Big thank you for visiting Fort Lauderdale. Best President Award.
Alexander Starr putting it down. Alexander! Well done, sir. Well done. Right here on TV Corner. You got to love it. You got to love the pageantry of it all. Mark and Lisa.
We felt that energy up here.
It was great, and he's so interesting. What a merge of music and social impact, and great performance of Lottie Deo, right, Chris? I saw you boogieing. I saw you.
You know what? It was so funny because we saw the float coming, and I'm like, is that him? Is that him?
Right.
And then everyone started getting really into it, and I was like, that's Alexander Starr. So we started feeling it, and you're right. Maybe I moved a foot or two here or there. Hard not to do that here at TV Corner.
Well, I'd like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Stacy Ritter at Visit Lauderdale. The float was money well spent, and the mission of changing the public's perception of Florida and what the news headlines say about the state being vastly different from the reality. That's an admirable one, an admirable mission.
Absolutely. I woke up, of course, the parade's at 8 o'clock in Pasadena. It's 11 o'clock here. So I was able to crawl myself to the television, get the Apple TV up and running to start my morning. And it was very cool. Did anybody here else get to see it, watch it on the parade?
No.
It was so cool. It was, we hit at prime time, 11:30, half an hour into the parade, and they showed it all. I was watching the NBC broadcast, so Hoda now, and they talked about it. They had their talking points, but they ad-libbed a little too. Like, they knew that this is important, and then they played the song, which has the lyric 954 we show out, and baby, we do, and we did. So thank you very much. And I talked to Stacy. She was, of course, out in Pasadena for it, and I finally was able to get her when she was awake and coherent, because she's just been exhausted. She's been out there for almost a week now, pulling this thing together. And she said that the reaction has been overwhelmingly positive. It was a leap of faith, and there was some skepticism. Anytime you do something for the first time, there will be. And she's absolutely correct. And another thing that she told me, and I don't really think about float production all that much, but a lot of these floats, there were, I think, 25 of them in the parade, they're like drawn up and worked on all year long.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Visit Lauderdale decided to do this around the 1st of October. They pulled this whole thing together in 3 months and just did such an amazing job. And Stacy, thank you for taking time for me today. She was texting me from the Rose Bowl game yesterday, and she was like, can we talk tomorrow? I'm at the game. And I'm like, well, that's a little humble bragging, but you know what? It's completely fine. And it was a great game. And shout out to my cousin Joel, who's in the Michigan marching band. He killed it, and I guess he'll be in Houston this coming Monday. So, okay, that's my personal connection to it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Stacy, thank you for all, and Richard Gray and everybody at Visit Lauderdale. Thank you so much for what you do for our community. You don't hear it enough. It's generally a thankless job, but we here say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Next, let's clear up South Florida and Florida. What's next after South Florida arrests for the brutal beating of LGBTQ plus women?
These are the two men Miami police say beat up a group of women in Wynwood last month when a tense verbal encounter turned violent.
These men just assaulted my friend.
Part of the attack caught on video, showing the suspects in white t-shirts swinging at a man who was trying to stick up for the women, one of whom was a lesbian, the other trans. The suspects are 33-year-old Jorge Estevez and 25-year-old Dyken Fernandez. Fernandez went before a judge Thursday.
One of the victims needed stitches. They may charge that as an aggravated battery. One victim lost consciousness after she was punched.
Both men face 2 charges of battery with prejudice, which means investigators believe it was a hate crime. Police Chief Manny Morales says such crimes are rare in Miami and they will not be tolerated.
We need to respect one another and respect the rights of our fellow citizens to actually live life in a safe and happy way.
In the weeks since the attack, the victims spoke with NBC6 without showing their faces, but they did share their safety concerns.
I definitely felt targeted, for sure. I mean, they were definitely trying to, hate on the fact that we were gay. I don't know why. I don't understand to this day why.
Both charges carry up to 15-year prison sentences if the suspects are found guilty. The judge made sure Fernandez knows that.
It's 15 years in prison you're facing. Each count, so you need to hire a criminal defense attorney, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
And police say this is a hate crime because it all started with the 2 men verbally insulting the women, hurling gay slurs at them. Again, as for the victims, they're still recovering from their injuries, and they are just thankful that the 2 suspects have been arrested.
Florida police have arrested 2 men in connection to a vicious assault on a group of LGBTQ plus women in November. Queer News Tonight was the first to report that both suspects were known but had not been arrested. Jorge Giovanni Estevez, 33, and Dyken Fernandez, 25, were detained and charged with battery with prejudice. The attack took place in Wynwood when several lesbians and 1 transgender woman were with friends following a Pandora Women's event held on November 26. Video obtained by police showed 2 men verbally accosting these women before they began throwing punches. The women can be heard calling out for help as the men attacked. One of the victims identified Fernandez as the man responsible for punching her friend several times in the head before knocking her unconscious, as well as punching and knocking to the ground another friend who sustained a concussion and required stitches. The group pleaded with the men to stop while warning that they had contacted law enforcement. At one point, the video shows another man intervening to stand up for the women and getting targeted by the attackers. One victim of the attack described being struck in the jaw, which left her with a hairline fracture that may require surgery. The woman who was knocked unconscious stated that she was unable to recall the events clearly due to her injuries. Many of them said that they were targeted for their sexuality. This is completely and utterly ridiculous that this is still happening. And to think that this happened during Trans Awareness Month, and just a few days prior was Transgender Day of Remembrance. And I don't know, I just really don't even have the words. I think back to several things that I've seen with a lot of men beating on transgender women back in the day. But the fact that the rest of the community, the women and the men in the gay community, came to support and to help them really means a lot. But I'm glad that the judge let them know that, hey, 15 years 15 years. It lets them know how significant what they did happened.
Absolutely.
And shout out to that one guy who actually stepped up and intervened. Because, you know, Wynwood, it's not a quiet part of town. It's not a very like secluded, empty area. That place is packed with people all the time. So shout out to that one guy. I don't think we got a name. We need more people like that in the world. You know, it truly shows, you know, whether he's a part of the LGBTQ plus community or just, you know, an ally. That's what we need. That's what we mean when we say show up, you know, stand up for our friends, our sisters, our brothers, and everyone else. I fear that this stems from and I'm going to say that people on their side are going to say, well, it started out as freedom of speech. My fear with that is words have power and words can emphasize how someone's feelings. When you get a pep talk, it changes how you feel. It riles you up. And those words can lead to aggravation, assault, you know, harm and trauma. And so my biggest fear and takeaway is when you hear this in public at any point, stay vigilant, be there for your allies, be there for yourselves, be there for your friends, your brothers and sisters.
No, wait a minute. One guy's name is Dyken? Okay, just wanted to get that out there. Now, can we all agree that the machismo demonstrated by these roid ragers qualifies as a weapon of mass destruction? It's like, you know what? Maybe there's people spending too much time in the gym. And maybe they should be staying at home reading books, you know, about the gay community, about the LGBTQ plus community.
Of course, we don't know if they were on any drugs or alcohol or long-term things like steroids. But I can tell you, I've been following this story very closely for several weeks. I have obtained pictures that were given to us. They went home and they scrubbed their social media accounts. But before the suspects did that, allegedly, they cleaned out. The witnesses were able to get screen grabs, and I haven't independently verified them with a web expert, the metadata. But it appears everything lines up with the timeline of that night that shows them out at a nearby bar, living it up, having a great time. That's great. Go out, have a good time. But it shows that they were out having a blast and riled up after a crowd, perhaps, or after a party, perhaps. We just don't know. But the pictures show that they were out. And I don't want to say anything libelous because they have not been they've been arrested. They have not been convicted of anything thus far. And obviously they have the benefit of the doubt. But I want to know why it took so long to get an arrest. We said in the story, we said that witnesses identified at least one of them. I've been told both of them and maybe more were identified the night of the attack. So why did it take so long? And to your point of physical fitness, one of the accounts that was either scrubbed clean or deleted was a fitness related account, whether one of the guys does training or not, or just fancies himself as a bulked up personal trainer. I don't know, but we will certainly be following this. Sometimes attacks on the LGBTQ plus community take years to come to trial. There was the attack at Miami Beach Pride several years ago. That just got resolved last week. And you know, delays, of course, help the defendant. That's what they're entitled to if a judge grants them. But I really hope it doesn't take us years to get to this. I hope by September, October, we are talking about the resolution of this case, some justice for the victims, and for God's sake, some justice for our community.
Let's flip the script a little. Next, let's queer up Hotspot Magazine. Hotspots Magazine 2024, Happy New Year on stands Thursday. In 2024, Hotspots is celebrating 40 years of gay lifestyle. We are showing you a sneak peek of the next cover. To ensure your happiness and entertainment, Hotspots Magazine is bringing its special New Year issue, which will be on stands Thursday, January 4th. Our top 10 list is the must-read of gay South Florida events. This special health and fitness issue is exactly what every LGBTQ plus person needs to start a new year. Get healthy, stay healthy, and have fun. That's exactly what Hotspots is all about. Features include 5 recommendations to start your day. Experts weigh in on waking up on time, get your body moving, and treat yourself. No, that's it. Treat yourself. Other recommendations include establishing a self-care routine and having a healthy breakfast. I would love a protein shake right now, honestly. It's also going to be a happy new gear, as you are going to see the latest in fashion, fit to perfection with ES Collection USA. And the models are as exciting as the gear. Hotspots is synonymous with entertainment and takes behind the scenes of Hadestown, the winner of 8 Tony Awards and coming to Broadway Center. It's a new year, so let's go back to Gotta Love the 80s. This star-studded show comes to the Parker January 27th, starring Freedom Williams from CNC Music Factory, George Lamont, Alicia, Company B, Noelle, Seabank, the original Cover Girls, and The Giggles. The first issue of our 40th anniversary also tells you the hot eats not to miss and what January means to LGBTQ plus history. Also learn all about the beloved Latino Salud as they celebrate their 15-year anniversary gala in January in Fort Lauderdale and February in Miami. They are a vital link to more than 10,000 LGBTQ plus community members each year. Don't forget to grab your free copy on Stands Thursday. What a fabulous way to really ring in the new year, to know the knows, what's happening, what is recommended, what's going on, where to find these things, and, you know, how to be a part of your community if you're possibly not able to watch our show, unfortunately, which is on demand. Don't forget, you can find it online, pre-recorded, after live performance, and, you know, other social engagements.
Absolutely. And, you know, Hotspots, the granddaddy of LGBTQ plus media. No, that's not shade. It's true that we're in our 40th year, and I think that's just a testament to the community support, and hopefully we return the support to the community. You know, I know that the team over there works so incredibly hard. Scott, Jameer, everybody there. Those are the two that are coming to my mind right now. So I look forward to them looking at all of our community as we go over the course of 2024. And Steve, is it possible to bring the cover picture back?
Yes, please.
I'd just like to say I love this guy, and I would help him lift his 10-pound weight any day of the week.
Well, someone dresses left. Next. On a more serious note, let's queer up trans rights. Dave Chappelle, the Dreamer, starts 2024 at Seminole Hard Rock and joke about trans people. Dave Chappelle is at it again, and this time it is right here in the gayest place on planet Earth. Chappelle took on what he calls the gays, and especially trans people, in 2022 and 23, almost unlike anyone else in America. So last fall, when Seminole Hard Rock Live announced he would perform New Year's Eve, it caught many by surprise. There was no denying his popularity. When the first show sold out, they added a second show, then a third, a fourth, and a fifth. He has been here in Fort Lauderdale through New Year's, and his shows were timed with a simultaneous launch of his new Netflix special New Year's Eve, called Dave Chappelle, the Dreamer. It's exactly what you have come to expect, an equal opportunity offender. The uber free speech preacher is often hilarious. That's, of course, if he's not talking about you. So it also comes as no surprise he takes on the gays in the first 13 minutes of the show. And it was exactly what the crowd wanted, cringy and all.
People acted like I needed them to be funny. Well, that's ridiculous. I don't need you. I got a whole new angle. You guys will never see this shit coming. I ain't doing trans jokes no more. You know what I'm gonna do tonight? Tonight, I'm doing your own handicap jokes. Well, they're not as organized as the gays. And I love punching down. There's probably a handicap in the back right now because that's where they usually make them sit. I came here to laugh at transgender people. I didn't know this nigga was gonna make jokes about us. Come on, y'all, let's get the fuck up out of here.
Here are the highlights. He tells an extended story about Jim Carrey playing Andy Kaufman. Chappelle explains Carrie was a genius and wanted so badly to meet him, but when he did, Carrie never came out of Kaufman character. So pretending to be someone else, he says, quote, "That's how trans people make me feel," end quote. Critics have said Chappelle has made a career of punching down. He immediately tries to take that off the table by saying, quote, "If you came to the show tonight thinking I'm going to make fun of those people again, you've come to the wrong show. I'm not fucking with those people anymore. It wasn't worth the trouble. I ain't saying shit about trans people. I'm not talking about them no more. Tonight, I'm going to be doing handicap jokes. They're not as organized as the gays, and I love punching down," end quote. It was a theme he returned to several more times. In fairness, his stories about Will Smith and Chris Rock, who he toured extensively with last year, were fascinating. Another moment is him talking about last year's show at the Hollywood Bowl when a man attacked him on stage who claimed he was offended because he was LGBTQ+. The attacker had a gun that was actually a blade. Chappelle makes a joke that the change made the gun trans. He offended white, black, women, wheelchair-bound politicians, and pretty much everyone else. But it's his trans jokes and his handicap metaphors that hit the hardest. One poignant moment was a long story at the end of his performance where he extends an olive branch to members of the LGBTQ+ community. He tells the story of his respect for Lil Nas X and that he was a real dreamer who succeeded where others didn't. And he only needed having sex with Satan to do it. In a final moment, Chappelle says, quote, "To be honest with you, I have been trying to repair my relationship with the transgendered community," end quote. Well, at least he's consistent, meaning he's still as ugly on the inside as he is on the outside. And perhaps because I'm an entertainment journalist and a creative person, my liberal and open-minded perspective on this subject may differ from other geezers in my group. But speaking as someone of a certain age who laughed a lot at comics such as insult comics, Don Rickles, Joan Rivers, Pudgy, it's sad to think that insult comedy has sunk to this low and hateful level. It's distressing.
Yeah. Adriana, I'd like to bring you in.
Don't put me on the spot because I'm the transgender one.
No, but we've talked a little bit about this, and you've watched the show.
I have.
How did you feel at the end of it?
I thought the show was funny.
Okay.
You just want me to do this.
Speaker
I think I have a different take than most people because maybe I'm a trans woman of a particular age and I've experienced a lot. And I'm big on comedy. I've been watching comedy specials back in the day. I think for me, because I'm a baby, but I used to love watching Eddie Murphy and his Raw and all of that kind of stuff for me, and Richard Pryor. So listening to him doesn't seem anywhere as bad as what they used to do back in the day. And they did say he was the equal opportunity person. He picked on every single person. When I think back on the show that he did last year, and I know the trans community was really up in awe about some of the things that he said. And I think, if you truly listened to some of his points, he made a point basically saying that he was in defense of trans men being in the bathroom with men, and that he thought it was best that trans women be in the bathroom with women. But there were several other things that he said, and that's one side of how I see it, and I don't have a huge issue with it. But then the other side is that, there are some people that do not have connections to trans people. They don't have a friend. And what they hear from him is the only thing that they get to hear. And that's their perspective of trans people because they heard it from him. And that's like the only problem that I truly have with it.
Right, because he's influential. He has influence.
Correct.
And it's interesting that you brought up Eddie Murphy, because Murphy took it really hardly because he had some very anti-gay material in his routine. Richard Pryor, who truly is the king of comedy, I don't think he ever stooped to that level. I don't think he ever did anti-gay comedy in his routines, but Murphy did, and he was made to pay for it. I mean, he really suffered for that.
Yeah, and Cameron, I'm going to bring you in a second, but I want to ask you, Gregg, first. You talk about, because we're both entertainment journalists. We've both spent a great deal of our time in celebrity circles, interviewing celebrity circles, and we're both very liberal. We both want to be able to say whatever we want. So how do you reconcile saying he shouldn't be talking about this versus what we do? Because free speech is the pillar that every part of our career is built on.
Yes, but he's using his platform, his comedy platform, as a weapon. He's weaponizing it. I mean, he really is. It's like you said, his audience, they may not know people in the community, but they know Dave Chappelle and they've loved his shows, his specials and everything. So he has a platform that he's using, and I think in a very hurtful manner.
Okay.
Whether weaponizing is intentional or not, it comes down to surface level. And a lot of people perceive, especially in comedy, what is being said on the surface level. They're not, really thinking, as, you mentioned, they're not really considering like, oh, wait, that joke kind of ties into like, oh, bathroom rights or anything in that such. What they're getting is, haha, you made fun of this subject, this subclass of people, I'm going to do the same, or, and that brings in the power that people will continue to have. It's another words have power situation.
Yeah, right.
True.
Right.
Yeah. Adriana?
No, but I do think that when people are listening to comedy and listening to people, they should really take in everything that he's saying instead of just taking the surface. Oh, ha, 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 that's so funny what he said. And then go back and look at it and say, oh, wow, what he's saying really is making some sense. Maybe the joke wasn't also funny to hear, but what he's saying is truly what I may believe. I think people should do what I did. Watch it for yourself. Make your own interpretation of what you believe, instead of just listening to the outside and saying, oh my God, it's awful because of this, that, and the other.
I so appreciate your perspective, because I'm not trans, and that's okay.
You sure?
I'm pretty.
We support you.
But
we do support you, though.
But when it comes to the trans community, our trans brothers and sisters, I'm always going to side on the air of caution. I just am. And I appreciate that your perspective, you're able to come in and say, hold up a little bit. Tap the brakes on this a little bit. And maybe sometimes he doesn't phrase it quite perfectly. I think a lot of times it might fall a little flat, and if he worked it a little bit. But that said, he's a comedy genius. So I'm not going to tell him how to rework his set or how to rework his material. He's inarguably one of the most important comedic voices of our generation. And he's been doing this for 30 years during the pandemic. And he did this in one of his comedy specials. He talked about when he went into the cornfields in Ohio by his house and just brought people in to watch his show to give them something to do in a socially distanced thing. His moments, his monologues on SNL after the last two presidential elections were moving. They sort of gave the country a focus point. He took these cultural moments and helped us relate to them. So what am I saying? I have no idea. I know that Dave Chappelle is important. I know that I love my trans brothers and sisters, and I think we just have to work it out from there. It's so hard. It's hard because I love free speech. I love being able to get out there and tell stories. So Dave, I want to love you. I do. I want to
do better.
I do want to love him.
Do better.
But please try and do a little better. That said, you're a genius and we appreciate you, but we also need you. We need you. Please be there with us. And now, here's a look at what I've been working on in Out South Florida for this week's issue. This week in Out South Florida, powered by Queer News Tonight. I'm Out South Florida senior reporter John Hayden In this week's issue, Shelby, Dolly, think about the girls. You've seen the meltdown, but there's so much more to this terminal case of bad behavior. Also, after more than a month, we finally have arrests in the vicious beating of a lesbian and trans woman in Miami's Wynwood district. And which fierce and fab community icon will be revealed as our first local person of the year. I'm John Hayden. Those stories and everything you may have missed while you were passed out in your holiday food coma in Out South Florida on stands and online. Also, follow me on Instagram at John Hayden Journalist for breaking news and live updates.
Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral's Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m.
Well, we finished tonight's queer news headlines with the segment we call LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News, let's queer up entertainment. Timothée Chalamet voted GQ's most stylish man of the year. Best dressed accolades continued to pour in for the Oscar-nominated wonderkind, Timothée Chalamet, who was just voted GQ's most stylish man of the year by the magazine's readers. The week-long poll, conducted via Instagram, was a slugfest between Timothée Chalamet and 15 of the year's most stylish tastemakers, including Troye Sivan, Bad Bunny, David Beckham, Kendrick Lamar, Cillian Murphy, Charles Melton, Pedro Pascal, and of course, Jacob Elordi. And if you wonder what led him to this title, Chalamet has nailed the concept of quiet luxury, oozing confidence, and wealth in ways that are subtle, relatable, and tasteful. He has redefined what it means to dress like a man, embracing femininity and open-mindedness. And as his holiday movie Wonka proved, he can also sing.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up students and youth culture. Floatarama Sights and Lights cruise raises $30,000 for Student Youth Fund. What could be a better way to celebrate the holidays than a delightful evening of live music in an open bar and heavy hors d'oeuvres, all while taking in the mesmerizing holiday lights on the water? This and more were offered on the Sights and Lights evening cruise by Floatarama on December 28th. It was an upscale 3-hour evening event with scenic views, friends, music, and a great opportunity to support Floatarama. The evening sold out and raised a grand sum of $30,000 for the Floatarama LGBTQ Youth Fund, managed by the Our Fund Foundation and directed by Floatarama. This was made possible with the help of sponsors like Hunter's Nightclub, Wilton Manors, Sundream Yacht Charters, Thomas Galbeck, and Warren Stauffer, AHF Pharmacy, Baxter Martin Advertising, Lawrence Menzel Photography, and DJ Ronnie Minutella. The event featured music by DJ J. McCracken, Alexander Zeno's jazz trio, the enchanting Pio melodies of Sam Frey, and the most flavorful smoked old-fashioned cocktails from Union Kitchen and Bar. Floatarama is an LGBTQ+ social organization that dictates substantial resources to helping LGBTQ+ students and youth in South Florida. Mark your calendars as Floatarama, one of America's largest LGBTQ+ boat parades, will return on Saturday, June 8th.
LGBTQ+ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up South Florida and Florida. New Year Pride Skate launches Stonewall Pride January 4th. Ring in the new year all week at Pride, and this time at Pride Skate Nights Extreme Action Park on Thursday, January 4th from 7 to 11. Then the first Thursday of every month. This is the time to enjoy New Year's present with 1 hour of extra skating. Also, you can pre-purchase tickets and enter for a chance to win 2 lower-level tickets to Florida Panthers Pride Night on Saturday, January 13th. The skate night has become one of South Florida's most enjoyable social activities and engagements. It will be hosted at the Arena Roller Rink, featuring a themed event, live music by DJ T Pro Mix, performances by Velvet Lenore, love you girl, Rihanna Patron, and more. Pride Skate Nights is a fun, family-friendly event benefiting Stonewall Pride Parade and Street Festival. General admission tickets are available for $15, while VIP is $25. Includes entrance to the party, skate rental, 2 beer or wine tickets, and a $5 donation. You can purchase tickets from hotspots.click/PrideSkate.
LGBTQ+ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up gay culture. Good riddance to 2023. Here's what we ain't bringing to 2024. One of Queer News Tonight's favorite splainers of queer pop culture, Bernardo Sim, a writer and editor at Out Magazine, had some observations on how we won't start the new year. Bernardo has a list of things that we are committing to, absolutely not bringing into 2024. This immaculate list includes George Santos. We need a break. I'm finished. Done. Next! The list also includes Elon Musk's Twitter, or X. Oh, full stop. Drop the mic, please. Also, no more witnessing LGBTQ+ shows getting canceled after 1 season, like Rise of Pink Ladies, A League of Their Own, First Kill, and Warrior Nun. What else do we not want to see in 2024? Oh, muscle gays doing photo shoots in Calvin Klein underwear. Where are the bears at? I need some bellies in here.
Whoa.
Praising and or bashing my brothers and sisters of Gen Z. Not relying on TikTok to be our official queer news source. You know, TikTok is a dumb person's CNN. I'm a very dumb person. Stop the combo of white high-top Converse and calf socks. Striped Zara button-up shirts. Complaining about drag race fatigue, not supporting drag kings, and trying to get into the Real Housewives. Oh, and the kink at Pride discourse. As Amanda Priestley says in The Devil's Wear Prada. That's all.
LGBTQ+ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up entertainment. Charles Baran stars in Curtain Up at Island City Stage, January 8th. Why not start the new year with a song and a smile? Beloved Island City Stage presents Curtain Up with the amazing Charles Baran. Every South Florida theater aficionado is invited to this entertaining evening featuring fun, laughs, Broadway trivia, exciting prizes, and great performances from your favorite productions by Sophia Porcel, Britt Steele, and Michael Scott Roth, with Phil Hinton on the piano. Curtain Up is scheduled on Monday, January 8th at 7 p.m. Tickets to Curtain Up with the amazing Charles Baran are $10 each and can be purchased at islandcitystage.org. That is today's news for the LGBTQ+ community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ+ news show. If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Are you like most of America, part of our very large television audience, watching this live LGBTQ plus news broadcast right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
Whew. I'm John Hayden, and we got the first show of the year under our belts. It's going to be smooth sailing from here. There's nothing else major coming up this year, right? No storm season, no elections. We're done. And by the way, one of the reasons I'm so happy tonight is because if you watch the Faye Watch show, you know we do it, or Faye does it, in bed. And I can see her set from our studio. And Luna, our station mascot, has just been there being the most adorable all show. So get a dog. Topic number 1, who's a good girl? Who's a good girl?
Can we get a close-up on me? I'm the good girl.
Yes, you are. And so, on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Adriana Tender, Cameron Glass, and the one and only Gregory L. Shapiro, we will see you daily at 8 p.m. all year. And to our LGBTQ plus world, we wish you a happy new year and a very good night.